Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a while. Anyways, I got a motion activated floodlight from Home Depot. So I'm gonna go try to install that for my roommate because every time he comes home, it's dark and he has to like turn his flashlight on his phone or whatever. It's hard for him to get inside, so. Alright, so once you take the light out of the box, you realize that it looks pretty good until you realize that you have to drill your own screw holes because there's no holes in the box to mount this. And I checked the instructions and there was nothing about multiple applications for this light with other lights on the circuit. So I already decided that I was going to disconnect the rest of the lights, otherwise those lights would be on all the time, which I don't want, which is what I wanted this light to do in the first place, was just to only work when it needs to and not have the rest of the lights on all the time. So first I went ahead and turned off the light so I could disconnect it. And then I went ahead and took the little nuts off and then pulled the light off and let that hang down. I went ahead and pulled off the plate with the screws, which are 2 freaking inches. And then I unwired nutted the wires from hot to neutral to ground, black, white, and then gold or green. So once I did that, I went ahead and grabbed my drill and drilled the 2 holes to mount this light according to my holes on my box in the wall. From there I went ahead and pulled the wires apart and checked for which one was the switch leg. That was the hot one. Once I turned the switch back on, made sure nothing was touching, and then I turned it back off so I wouldn't have to work hot or get shocked, and then capped off the wires that were not hot when the switch turned on, which was the garage wires that continued down the line that I was disconnecting. Wire nutted those off. Then I went ahead and stuffed the wires into the box in the wall and then went ahead and tried to mount it. But then I quickly realized that this mounting holes on the light are 4/0 and my box is only a 3/0. So I quickly went into the garage and looked for a bracket. Luckily I had one in the garage from like 5 years ago from building my parents' house. So I found that and then I screwed that to the 3/0 screws so I could make this a 4/0 application. Then I rewired the light black to black and white to white. And then after stripping out the screws that originally came out of the wall, the 2 inches, I had to find some more in the garage. And then those were too long, so I had to cut those down. I did forget about the screws that came with the light, so that was my bad. So once I got the screws finally cut down and short enough, I went ahead and screwed those in by hand because it was hitting the box because of the box situation from the 3/0 to the 4/0. So I screwed that in by hand so I wouldn't strip them out or snap them off in the mounting plate or in the box. But all in all, I finally got it and everything worked out. Alright guys, I finally got it installed. It was the worst pain ever. Didn't come with a mounting plate. The box was a 3/0 and it needed a 4/0. So I had to get a plate out of my garage that I luckily had. And then the screws were hitting the box. As you can tell, it's just a crap job because the box is kind of falling out of the wall right here. The box is just like all over the place, so I'm just gonna leave it, whatever. But ideally this would be flush against the wall. But as you can see, the screws are hitting the box. You can't really see the screw right there. There it is. The screw is hitting the box because it's 4/0 holes on a 3/0 box. So luckily the plate's not really showing, but there's a huge gap over here because the wood hole is just way too big. But other than that, I was trying to rotate it to get it level, but the screws are just pressed against the box, so it doesn't really work. Would not recommend this light at all. Total nightmare. Although it looks good and works well so far, I haven't really set up the detection system yet. And yeah, I'm assuming I'll have to leave the switch on all the time inside the house right here, because if I turn it off, it cuts power and it doesn't really work. But if I start walking out here, then it'll turn on, which is nice, but just a total pain in the butt to install. Total nightmare. So probably took like over an hour and it should have been like 10 minutes. So hopefully Terry enjoys this light because it was a nightmare. Anyways, I disconnected the rest of the garage lights, so those don't work now. So anyways, not ideal. Only really ideal for a 4/0 box and for a single switch leg. So now the rest of my garage lights do not work. I already disconnected that light bulb a long time ago, but the rest of the lights do not turn on now. So mainly for a one switch leg application, or like for above a garage or something like that. So hopefully this gives you some help if you needed some. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Love you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have the desire, and feel pity for me. Love you guys. Peace.